Okay, back again. Time to get it going on with the house track. Looking forward to it. I've had some ideas in the meantime, just having the track in the back of my mind, as always happens. So just want to make sure that my voice is sounding decent and that the track is clearly audible. Not to me, it's not. Excellent. Thanks, baby. Hi, Dave. Great to see you. Just tuned in. How far into the song? Do you mean how far into the song have I gotten working on these sessions so far? Or today? So far, I've got my main drop, so to speak, done. And then I've got most of the intro done. Today I'm going to try to connect the intro to the main drop through some means and then potentially add a secondary part to the drop. I don't even know if people call it a drop in house music. I mean, I'm just like, that's just what I'm calling it from other EDM genres. Thanks. Yeah, as you can see, I've been on this stream. This is, I think, the fifth one. Is that the right fifth one? And each one's been 2 hours, and I'm still not even close to being done with the song. I mean, I still have to connect this thing, got to add another part, got to do a breakdown, got to do all the final touches and mixing. It's amazing the amount of time a song like this takes. And yeah, so I'm in it for the long haul, but of course being on stream, it takes longer too, because I'm like chatting with people and voicing every single thing that I do, where normally I just kind of in this like head down mode where I just go for it. T-Mac, hello, you made it. Great to have you. Thanks for stopping by. Appreciate that. As always, please feel free to give any suggestions, questions, want me to explain anything, if you have ideas for parts I should try or you think would sound good. I'm very much open to whatever, any ideas you have. And there's a lot of things I'm sure that become obvious to people when they're listening that are not obvious to me as I'm doing it because I'm too whatever involved in it. So if something seems like, oh, maybe that should change, doesn't mean I'm going to agree with you, but I'm happy to hear about it if you've got an idea, that's for sure. So I'm just going to start out by playing through it, getting the vibe of the song in my mind, and then we'll see what we can do. Skipping ahead here. Something's going to happen in this period of time.
Atomic activity on the...
Okay, I got the vibe. Yeah, I'm sure a lot on the living room speakers come through that don't come through on the laptop speakers, all that definition. It's probably interesting. I've been hearing it, of course, in full definition on these monitors and my headphones the whole time. So I don't know what's new to you, but hey, it's my dad. Welcome, Dad. That's great to have you here. Got the LMFAO vibe. Glad to hear it. So, responding to some comments here. Wanted to tighten up my tunes before I send them. That's great. I would love to hear them in any state they are. I mean, I know how it goes with music. Like, I can extrapolate, of course. If I hear a tune in its raw state, I can extrapolate into what it's going to become with some mixing and some extra composition and all that. So, don't be too worried about it. I do have and have had many, many students over the years, both various instruments, guitar and piano and this and that, and then production students as well. So I'm very much used to hearing things in their raw, maturing state before they reach their peak, so to speak. But of course, whatever you're comfortable with is cool by me. Is the camera okay as it is right now? Like, I've turned off some lights in here this time because it just gets so hot in this room. Am I like clear enough on the screen? I only have a tiny, tiny little video to see myself in here, so I don't actually know. Great. Okay, so the first thing that came to mind during this like little thing we have here where this chord comes in. Here. That's what needs to happen right there. And in order to make that happen, I will probably use some kind of serum. Can you believe it? It seems to be all I use. Just on a computer side of things, for anybody who's nerdy there about the audio computer sort of situation, I'm actually running a Hackintosh. So it's basically a PC that's running Mac, and I run 32 gigs of RAM, I think a 4 gigahertz processor, blah, 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 blah. But still, as you can see, I just switched my buffer size there, my device block size, as they call it in Studio One, because my performance meter, if you don't know where it is down here, was creeping up a little bit. It makes me nervous, so I wanted to up that a little bit. So let's get a new, whatever, serum going on here. So I'm going to use duplicate complete, which makes a complete new instance of serum, but it will also keep all the routing and all the other stuff, but it will also duplicate my MIDI. So I'm going to delete the extra MIDI that it gave me there, and then I'm going to add something here. I'd also just like to do a lag check with people being in different parts of the world. I wonder how much latency there is between different areas. So what I'm going to do is count to 3, and I'm going to clap. I'm going to clap on the number 3. And if you want to just type clap and then push enter when you hear me clap, I'd like to see how far between it is for different people, because it's not quite in real time. So, and I'll read this comment that's in the chat there in a second. So on 3, I'm going to clap. If you could type clap just for interest's sake. 1, 2, I said I was going to do it on 3. 1, 2, 3. So fairly decent, less than 10 seconds, I would say, with some spread across people. That's good. Excellent. So you're saying, I find duplicate complete also joins the audio fade moves, which sucks because I want to control the volume independently. Okay, So you mean when you duplicate complete, it's going to copy your automation down to a new track? Is that what you mean? Like I don't have... No, see, it didn't do it well. I guess I don't have volume automation on this track. No, that's right. I don't have any automation here. But if I had volume automation, you're probably right. It would duplicate the whole automation down. I haven't thought about that before, so that's a good thing to know. Thanks for that. So this is stabs, and we'll just color it. I don't know. That color. Okay, so I'm looking for a short, punchy stab. Okay, not automation. Like if I move the volume on one, it moves it on the other. Oh, because you're not duplicating complete then. You're just duplicating. You're going duplicate track, not duplicate complete, which makes another MIDI track, but that MIDI track is actually tied to the same instance of the VST from the previous one. So everything, you're actually controlling one instrument. So everything you move on one will move on the other. Duplicate complete will make an entirely new instrument. That's the difference. Yeah. Okay, so we're looking for short little punchy sounds here. I'm just going to go through these presets. These are the presets that I have made in the past. This one is not so bad. Nope. Nope. That's actually more like what I'm looking for. I'm not sure I want the crunchy thing on it right now, but I'll use this to begin with, and then we can change it afterwards. So what I'm looking for is and I'm just thinking of like a subtle chord stab to take the place of what was the pad holding this chord here. Yeah, so the voicing choice will make all the difference here. So an interesting thing to think about here from a compositional perspective, which is that we've hit this chord. We've got the bass playing as B flat. We're hearing B flats in the arpeggio up, doom, doom, dum, that sort of stuff. A lot of stuff's already playing the root and giving us the general tonality of the moment. So it might not be that I have to play a whole chord, so to speak, as you normally would, like a two-handed thing. Instead, I could play just a little fragment, which might be better in this case. So, oh yeah, also I was thinking, I don't know if this is preferable or of interest, about putting a keyboard down here, like I have in some of my videos, so that you can actually see all the keys I'm pressing. I don't know if that's useful or not. I could try it. The only thing is it's gonna remove some of the screen real estate, right? Like it's gonna impinge on the vertical aspect of the screen, but I'll just do it quickly and then you can tell me if it's worth having or not. This is Konyi, the amazing app that everybody asks me about, and everybody who puts them in their videos gets asked about all the time. So we can put this maybe here and then pull this up like that. Is that worth having? By the way, I turned on all notifications for your channel on YouTube and I didn't get any notice of your live stream. Just randomly checked and saw you were streaming. That's good to know, because that's something that we are trying to figure out. I don't know enough yet about how to notify everybody about the stream. I figured that if you hit the bell icon, I don't know anything about that stuff, but if you hit the bell icon, I assume you're supposed to be notified about it. I feel like I'll probably make a separate Facebook page for my music-related stuff that I can post on there about upcoming streams. The bell's whack, yeah. And so I don't know. I don't have the answer to that, unfortunately. I would definitely like to know, though. If anybody has any idea on how that stuff works, I'd be happy to hear. Interesting. Well, thanks for letting me know that, Matt. I appreciate it. I just have to text a friend. I know he wanted to join, and I feel like he might not be here at the moment. You must have to ring the bell. Well, I guess I'll have to give it a go. Ding, ding. Yeah, I told Michelle. She's actually out of energy right now from kids all day. Okay, so chord. B flat is the chord. B flat, add 9 is the chord that we're hearing. This. You can see those down there now. Hey, that's pretty cool. And you know what? I might even be able to... I have no idea if this is going to fit or not. Like, I could actually try to squeeze this in here. So now it gives me the chord names, too. That's pretty cool. You ever use the chord track? I actually only use the chord track to make videos, to give examples for students and things. And myself, it's not that useful to me. It takes more time for me to click in the names of the chords than it does to just play them anew. So I prefer just to play them. But for doing videos and things, it's great because you can have all the chord names displayed at the top, which, you know, might actually be good for this too. Just, I don't know, so people can see what it is. But it does take up some more screen real estate as well. So, okay. I and probably 100,000 other people are very partial to add 9 chords. They call it add 2 down there. Fine by me, 2, 9, same thing. And to me, it's like the most dignified major chord there is. Very full of goodness and proud. These are the words that come to me. And this voicing is the best voicing I know really for it. I've got 1, 5, 3, 5, 9. It's just stacked so well. So could try to pulse that in its entirety. It's not going to be working right now. It's not going to sound so hot, but with some manipulation, it might come together. I like the potential of chord track because you can move around the chords by dragging in the composition phase, but it sucks at identifying higher extension chords automatically. Yeah, totally. It seems like a great idea, and that like you would just change a chord and then it would change all the MIDI beneath it to fit the chord. That seems great. I haven't explored it enough to give a verdict on whether I would use it or not. I have too many years of experience doing it a previous way, and I can work so fast that way that, yeah, it doesn't make sense for me at the moment. Okay, so let's give this a shot here on this new chord. I'm just gonna roughly play it in and then we'll try to finesse it. Sounds pretty terrible as is, but we can probably fix that. This is the wrong sound, I know that much. Okay, so I only need to be quantizing on 8th notes right now. Dot, 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 dot. So I'm getting a bit of misquantization here. Jeez. Oh, these are triplets. That's why I'm getting crazy misquantization. There we go. Oh, swing. How many times we got to do this? There we go. And if you don't know, there's a cool trick here. You just grab the end of one, hold Command, and they will all become the same length. Hold Shift, and then you can unlock from the grid. So I can move all of them simultaneously to however I want them to be. In this case, I actually want them to be their full length. And I want all the velocities to be even. And the sound itself is really not working for me, but we'll be able to get some idea. It actually doesn't sound as bad when it's perfectly played like that. Maybe it's just a user error. It's decent, but I think we can probably get a cooler sound. That's an interesting sound. Yo, Connor. What's up? I kind of like this sound. It needs to be manipulated still, but yeah, I think so too. I like it. He's chilling, man. Okay, so I'm gonna try to get the sound to be. Oh, nice. I'm going to try to get the sound to be shorter, and we're going to do that by controlling the how fast the cutoff on the filter is coming down. If you watch this little window right here, you can watch the cutoff on the filter coming down and how it goes choom. And so we want the choom to happen much faster. This little thingy up here tells me that the cutoff is being modulated by something. So if I look, I can see, or I should be able to, it's being modulated by envelope 1. So here's envelope 1, which happens to be my volume envelope as well, which might not be the best for this, but I will try to manipulate it and see if we can make it better. That's more like what I'm looking for. That's pretty cool. And then we can actually do this. So we will control the decay knob through another macro, so it can get longer. And we can expand it as time goes on. So we call this decay. I'm going to set this to record my automation just by touch. And then we play it. I'm just going to move the knob a little bit just to get it going. Turn this back to read so I don't write any more automation down. And then we can come in here and start working with it. And what I want to do is, as I near the end of the phrase, I want to let the filter open and then snap it shut again when it's time. So what we can do is set this to be here, set the ending of the phrase to be here at maximum. We'll just drag this out to delete all this stuff for now. I always mix up the sustain and release in synthesis. Yeah, I mean, the only thing you got to remember is that release is everything to do with what happens after you let go of your hand, right? That's all. Sustain still applies to while your fingers are touching the keys, and release is everything to do with after you're not touching the keys anymore. That's the big deal. If it's a big deal, I don't know. Okay, let's ramp this up like this. Now let's make it straight. Let's make it the whole length of the thing. Let's make it bent. And then here, let's place. And right here, we bring it back down again. And then we can actually repeat the whole thing. Pretty cool. I want a steeper curve though. Yeah, I like it. Neato. To get the volume balance, I'm just going to pull the master down for a second and start from a bit earlier. That's decent. Okay. And then I just want to quickly try to experiment with the notes playing around with the notes moving maybe during this time. Like that. And then also potentially try to move. Hi, Prashun. Great to have you here. Good morning. Try to have one of the inner notes move in harmony with the thing. But I don't really know how doable that is. I'm great, Prashun. Thanks. Happy to be working on the song again. Happy to be with everybody on the stream right now. It's very nice. How are you doing? That's pretty cool. I wonder what I can do. I could move the whole set of 3 parts around in harmony. It would be interesting. Your mouse editing the automation, but the sustain pedal on a MIDI keyboard writes instrument part automation, but when you go to re-record an instrument part, it preserves the sustain pedal moves. When you go to re-record an instrument part, it preserves the sustain pedal moves. You mean when you're going to go record over, like you're talking about in, say, in this thing, I've got, this is a bad example, but I do have, okay, no, that's just a really bad example. Somewhere in this song, I do have a sustain pedal holding. And then, yeah, doing like another recording of a layer onto that track would preserve that previous sustain pedal. That's right, exactly. You don't record over it, so to speak. Although maybe there's a mode where you can do that. I don't know. Okay, so where did my track just go? Oh, it's here. You wish it could be overridden. You want to re-record the sustain stuff onto it when you do it a second time, I see. I wonder, you have this record option stuff down here. You probably know about that, the record panel. This might just apply to audio, instrument, loop record, record mix, record takes, undo the last loop. playing around with that. I don't know. I don't know enough about it. I've never had to think about it myself, so I don't have the answer. I'm going to try to move the top 3 parts of this chord in 3-part harmony following this thing. Oops. The methodology, or the whatever you want to call that, behind the movement is going to be, I'm targeting a chord here, right? I'm targeting B flat major add 9, and this chord is this note is the 9, the 1, the 9, the 5, 9, 1, 9, 3. So I don't hit any non-chord tones in the melody. That doesn't mean I don't have to do that in the harmonies. I can hit non-chord tones, so to speak, like as in extensions of those chords. But if I can, I'll try to keep it locked to chord tones. And we'll just try it and see what happens. So if I drop this down to a chord tone, I'll get to the question there in just one sec. This could be, yeah, this is going to be funky. This is going to have to stay here, stay here. When this goes up, we could hit a flat 7, and this could hit a 5. This is back down to normal. This is to the 9 and the thingy. That's normal, and that's on the 3, so we could hit flat 7 and 5 maybe. Okay. Do you find the Studio One macros for inversion do a good job of voice leading? That's an interesting question. I've never used it before. I don't actually even know what you're talking about. You're saying that there's a macro for chord inversion. Am I looking in the right place? I wonder. It's an interesting idea. Pretty cool. Change the musical edit on the top left to what? Music creation? Oh wow, I haven't even looked at these before. This, what, is this it? Chord up, chord down. If I grab a chord and move it down. Interesting. Maybe music edit. Inversion. Pitch. Pitch. I don't know. I'll have to look into that. Again, it's like one of those things that I do so second nature that I would never think to use a macro for it myself. So that's probably why I've not known of its existence. Interesting. Cool idea, though. I like that. I like the flat 7 getting in there. This one's going to need some other kind of work. I don't really feel like doing it right now, so I'll finish it later. Okay, so coming from back here. Okay, so on to the main event of today. Trying to connect this section to the main section. I've got this little quote here from last time about atomic moon situation.
Atomic activity on the moon.
That's all out of volume whack. It definitely is too loud for the drop, but we're going to get there. I want to try to look through some more of these phrases to see if I can find something to put over top of this section talking about some of that moon-related activity. So I have some of these from last time.
You're the kind of man I need and understand.
I love that.
Soon I'll be dead, but my daughter's life is at stake.
This is good, but I don't need it for today.
25.
Soon I'll be
that
dead,
one.
but my daughter's life is at stake.
No, sir. I heard a clicking noise like the wheel on the vault was turning, and I...
No.
Well, what can we do?
Sure.
Doc, what's wrong? Why do I keep appearing and disappearing?
I don't know. I needed more time to study the X-13 before trying it out on you.
Oh, fine. Well, you're going to do something about it. I've got to be normal, and you're going to take care of it.
I will, but not in this place.
Well, why not? I got him locked up.
I want to be taken away from here, my daughter and I. Only then I will treat you.
But
There's a lot of good stuff in there. I'm going to keep it.
there is no doubt.
Get rid of this guy.
And for some time, our astronomers have been noticing an unusual amount of atomic activity on the moon.
Can you add formats in Studio One like Ableton did with warping? I don't know if you can add them directly in audio files. You could do it with Melodyne, which I do own and is built into Studio One. So you might be right. I could actually probably try to do that, do some format shifting. Good call on that.
Atomic activity on the moon. And for some time, our astronomers have been noticing an unusual amount of atomic activity on the moon.
Mm-hmm.
You mean no one on Earth ever has?
Okay, so let's see if we can kind of get down to where we were there.
Well, I've got to build up the...
Yes, it's certainly the first thing to do.
Yes. And my flying suit gives me a considerable advantage in running them down.
Goodbye, Cody.
Goodbye. They called me down to the jail hospital to see if I could identify a prisoner. And he turned out to be one of those...
And for some
fools who've
time,
been
our
making all the
astronomers have been
trouble for us.
noticing an unusual amount of atomic activity on the moon.
There's just so many good ones. It's amazing.
No, from what I've learned of the nature of the blast, they seem more like an atomic ray of some kind.
Tests of the wreckage show that the explosions are of atomic origin. Not definitely, but
Okay, we can use this.
You mean the government knows what's...
its primary use, since you people developed the rocket ship for us, and we'll be the ones operating it, it has been decided that you should know more of our plans. I've been authorized to tell you this much.
Yeah, some good stuff in there. Yeah, these are royalty free. This is from a guy online. He calls it the Memory Collection. And you can give a kind of... you can give a donation of some kind, or forget what it is, and then you can get access to all of these amazing public domain movies from the, whatever, 40s and 50s that he's chopped up for you. So you're looking for, you mean the government knows.
It's the same guess that we've made.
No, from what I've learned of the nature... You mean the government knows what's causing it?
Yeah, that's actually probably a useful one, too.
Since you people developed... It's out of the question.
He only answers to a few people in this country of ours. Just what is his job, anyway? That guy Henderson wouldn't tell you what time it is. Well, there are several theories, Joan. But so far, no one is even sure what kind of explosives are being used or how they're set off. Maybe Mr. Henderson will have some information for us when he...
Another woman in the waterfront neighborhood. But you're completely...
But no one has ever been able to make an atomic ray machine.
You mean no one on Earth ever...
Say, this rocket we're building will be able to fly to the moon.
That's useful.
Maybe someone up there's built one that could get down here.
We believe that possible.
Also good.
And for some time, our atomic blasts on the Earth. The two known facts fit together.
So that's why you want us to fly to the moon.
Yes. And when you get to the moon, find out if these attacks are actually coming from there, and try to devise some plan for stopping them. In the meantime, we'll do what we can with these attacks here. Is your flying suit still working?
Yes, and I'll be glad to try.
One blast from that ray gun will pop this ship like... We discovered that Reddick is planning to lead an invasion from the moon as... We discovered
Okay, we're
that
just
Reddick
gonna
is planning
try
to
to
lead an invasion from the moon as soon as the saboteurs finish
use one of
softening up our
these.
defenses.
Okay, so I'm very much open to suggestions here. I just kind of fly by the seat of my pants when I try this stuff and see what I can find. I need to find one to begin with that gets the ball rolling, right? That gives like a flavor of what we're even talking about.
Tests of the wreckage show that the explosions are of atomic origin.
Oh my God. Here's what I'm going to do. All these things are of a crazy
You're the kind of man I
different
need.
volume.
We believe that possible.
Sorry about that. I'm going to set them all to be at 0, and I'm going to send them all to a internal bus within battery. And in battery, now I'll turn the bus down itself. Oops.
You're the kind of man I need and
Tests of the
understand.
wreckage show that
And then
We believe
I want
that
them
possible.
to cut each other off, so I use a choke group for that.
You're the kind of man I need and understand.
Do I use gain staging in Studio One with the input trim? Do you mean from my microphone input trim, or using like the mix tool plugin, or how do you mean exactly?
Tests of the wreckage show that the explosions are of atomic origin. Since you people developed the rocket ship for us, and we'll be the ones operating it, it has been decided that you should know more of our plans. I've been authorized to tell you this much.
In the mixer view, you talking about the new feature knob from 4.5. From 4.5, you say. Trim knob. Where's the trim knob? I don't know exactly what you're talking about. The new feature knob. Yeah, I don't know. I have a thing where I can show the go to the wrench icon. Oh, okay. What do we got? Audio device input controls. Oh, I see. So the answer is no. I don't. But that's probably a good idea. I've not even gotten into using it. As you can see, I guess in some ways I do embrace new features. I love new features and I'm always reading up on it, but I guess I just like totally did not even know that was a thing. That's great though. Thanks for that. And you can change the polarity. That's fantastic. So the answer is yes. Yes, I do gain staging, although never through that trim knob, but today is the day.
You mean the government knows what's causing...
Since you people developed the rocket...
Well, what can we do? Doc, what's wrong? Why do I keep appearing and disappearing?
I don't know.
Say, this rocket we're building will be able to fly to the moon.
And for some time, our astronomers... You mean no one on Earth that we believe that possible. And for some time, our...
Say, this rocket we're building will be able to fly to the moon.
We believe that possible.
Well, what can we do?
You mean the government knows what's causing it?
Since you people developed the rocket ship for us, and we'll be the ones operating it, it has been decided that you should know more of our plans. I've been authorized to tell you this much.
Yeah, I love the appearing and disappearing too. I kind of felt like I would start with that, but I don't know if it'll fit either.
Tests of the wreckage show that...
You're the kind of man...
You mean the government?
Since you people developed...
Well, what can we do? Doc, what's wrong? Why do I keep appearing and disappearing?
I don't know. I needed more time to study the X-13 before trying it out on you.
Oh, fine. Well, you're gonna do something about it. I've gotta be...
Say, this rocket...
You mean no one on
Hi,
Earth ever
Spetty,
has.
Speedy. Am I saying that right? Sorry, Spetty, Speedy. Thanks for joining in. Great to have you here. Where are you from?
Say, this rocket we're building will be able to fly to the moon.
And for some time, our astronomers have been noticing an unusual atomic activity on... You mean no one on Earth ever has. We believe that possible.
Well, what can we...
You mean the government knows what's causing it?
Yeah, the atomic energy on the moon, this one.
Atomic activity on the moon.
We actually have that from last time chosen, and it's already in place over here. I'm going to be manipulating a little bit later on. I just need to learn how... and call it a day. And the government as the bridge. Yeah, I'm going to...
You mean the government knows what's causing it?
I'm going to start with...
Since you people developed the rocket ship...
Doc, what's wrong?
Say, this rocket we're building will be able to fly to the
I'm
moon.
going to start with this one, actually. And... what's the best way for me to do all this stuff? I'm going to do this. Ah. Okay, so... Ah.
Since you people developed the rocket ship...
You mean the government knows what's causing it?
Well, what can we do? Doc, what's wrong?
Say, this rocket we're building will be able to fly to the moon.
Doc, what's...
This rocket we're building will be able to fly to the moon.
That's the first one.
And for some time, our atomic activity... You mean no one... We believe that possible. We believe that possible.
Let's bounce these two out. And then let's chop this.
We believe that possible. We believe that possible. You mean no one on Earth... Atomic activity. And for some time, our astronomers have been noticing an unusual amount of atomic activity on the moon. And for some time, our astronomers have been noticing an unusual amount of atomic activity on the moon.
Yeah, I know. They're so good, these clips. There's hundreds and hundreds of them.
Say, this...
Doc, what's wrong? Well, what can we do?
You mean the government knows what's causing it?
Since you people developed the rocket ship for us, and we'll be the ones operating it, it has been decided that you should know more of our plans. I've been authorized to tell you this much.
Let's put that one over here. Hi, Miles.
Since you people developed the rocket ship for us. Authorized it and for...
I see. Didn't have enough time for that. Bounce you out.
And for some time, our astronomers... Since you people developed the rocket ship for us, and we'll be the ones operating it, it has been decided that you should...
Okay, I'm just going to start trying to lay these out a little bit and see how it goes. So I'm going to start probably with...
Say, this rocket we're building will be able to...
First thing I'm going to do is split this a little bit. We'll increase the thing.
Say, this rocket we're building will be able to fly to the moon.
And then...
We believe that possible.
Say, this rocket we're building will be able to fly to the moon.
We believe that possible.
Good night, T-Mac. Thanks for joining in. I appreciate it. Thank you.
Say, this rocket we're building will be able to fly... Say, this rocket we're building will be able to fly to the moon.
We believe that possible.
Say, this rocket we're building will be able to fly to the moon.
We believe that possible. We believe that possible.
Say, this rocket we're building will be able to fly to the moon.
We believe that possible.
Good idea, Matt. Actually, you might be right, putting them in sample 1. Only thing is, I would like to be able to have a lot of control over the individual elements in the thing. Now, is that something you can do in there? Because that I don't ever use sample 1 at all. Like, if I wanted to chop stuff up within the same clip and move it around, like, is that a thing?
Say, this rocket we're building will be able to fly to the moon.
We believe that possible.
Hi, Laylee. And I thought I had... Okay.
We believe that possible. And for some time, our astronomers have been noticing an unusual amount of atomic activity on the moon. And for some time, our astronomers have been noticing an unusual amount of atomic activity on the moon.
Interesting. With the sample 1 thing. If I just do this, Isn't there a thing in here that says like send to sample 1? Yeah. Actually, this will go to the drum bus.
And for some time, our astronomers have been noticing an unusual amount of atomic activity on the moon. And for some time, our astronomers.
Interesting. This is definitely something I should be using. I feel like I'm gonna take some time to learn it, and I don't really want to do that for all you people right now because it's just gonna probably be too annoying. You can drag and drop the rest of the clips to the right column under samples. Yeah, I think that's a great idea. Because I don't know it yet, I'm not going to use it at this moment just to like not waste your time. But I can't wait to check that out because I use this kind of stuff quite often. So thank you for the suggestion.
Say, this rocket we're building will be able to fly to the moon.
We believe that possible.
This one will come over here.
And for some time, our astronomers. And for some time, our astronomers. And for some time, our astronomers. Our astronomers. And for some time, our astronomers have been noticing an unusual amount of atomic activity on the moon.
Say, this rocket we're building will be able to fly to the moon.
We believe that possible. And for some time, our astronomers have been noticing an unusual amount of atomic activity on the moon.
Mm-hmm. What's this guy have to say?
Since you people developed the rocket ship for us, and we'll be the ones operating it, it has been decided that you should know more of our plans. I've been authorized to tell you this much.
I've been authorized to tell you this much. I kind of like that.
Since you people...
Say, this rocket we're building will be able to fly to the moon.
We believe that possible. And for some...
You can create warp markers within sample 1 so that the dialogue falls on the 2 or the 4 however you want. Wow, that's super cool. That's like a thing I really need to know about. Interesting. Thanks, Matt. That's fantastic.
And for some time, our astronomers have been noticing an unusual amount of...
I just want to try something really stupid for 1 second. Bear with me.
Noticing an unusual amount... Noticing an unusual... Noticing an unusual... 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 Unusual amount... Unusual amount of atomic act... Our astronomers have been noticing an unusual amount of atomic act... Our astronomers have been noticing an unusual amount of atomic activity on the moon.
How about that?
Our astronomers have been noticing an unusual amount of atomic activity. Our astronomers have been noticing an unusual amount of atomic activity on the moon.
It needs some more manipulation.
Say, this rocket we're building will be able to fly to the moon.
We believe that possible.
Need an echo on there.
We believe that possible.
Possible.
And for some time, our astronomers have been noticing an unusual amount of atomic activity on the moon.
Activity on the moon. Activity on the moon.
Amount of atomic activity on the moon.
Activity on the moon.
Amount of atomic activity on the moon. Amount of atomic activity on the moon. Amount of atomic activity on the moon. Amount of atomic activity on the moon. Amount of atomic activity on the moon. unusual amount of atomic activity on the moon.
Ay, ay, ay.
Unusual amount of atomic activity on the moon. Believe that possible.
Yeah, I like it too, Lele.
Possible. Possible, possible. Possible, possible.
Just do our own kind of manual echo here.
Possible, possible, possible. Possible, 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 possible. And for some time, our astronomers have been noticing an unusual amount of atomic activity on the moon.
Say, this rocket we're building will be able to fly to the moon.
We believe that possible, 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 possible. And for we believe that possible, 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 possible. And for some time, our
I thought there was another clip of him saying yes, and I could just throw that in there too.
A man with a... But if he... That's Adam Buck.
I know all about your background. You have quite a reputation in the underworld as somewhat of a genius when it comes to opening safes and vaults.
You're aware of its effect as well as in restoring cells which have been...
But no one has ever been able to make...
Yes.
Yes.
It'll be easier if I could just show this in Finder. And then... grab it and just throw it in here.
And for some,
Yes.
and for some unusual amount of
You can drag those into sample 1. That's totally true.
possible, possible, possible. Yes. And for some
Perfect.
we believe that possible, 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 possible. Yes. And for some
Ha! Wow. I'm happy with that.
we believe that possible, 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 possible. Yes. And for some time, our astronomers have been noticing an unusual amount of atomic activity on the moon.
Say, this rocket we're building will be able to fly to the moon.
We believe that possible, 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 possible. Yes. And for some time, our astronomers have been noticing an unusual amount of atomic activity on the moon.
Thank you, everybody. Appreciate that.
Say, this rocket we're building will be able to fly to the moon.
We believe that possible,
Sean,
possible,
yo.
possible, possible, possible. Yes. And for some time, our
I just so love that yes. I really can't get over it.
we believe that possible, 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 possible. Yes. And for some time,
I'm just gonna do a quick pitch shift downwards just to see.
possible, possible. And for we believe that possible, 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 possible. And for some time,
That's actually pretty cool.
we believe that possible, 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 possible. And for some
Pitch shift or no pitch shift? Can I get a
Say,
opinion?
this rocket we're building will be able to fly to the moon.
we believe that possible, 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 possible. And for some time, our astronomers have been noticing an unusual unusual amount of atomic activity on the moon.
Oh, man. Yes, I will try. I can actually even just try this. If I go on this clip and push Command M, I can throw this clip into Melodyne. There you are.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
Ah, I see. It gets rid of the pitch shift when I do that. I have to pitch it down here, I guess.
Yes. Yes.
Except the Melodyne pitch shift is always very odd.
Yes.
Okay, there's a format tool here somewhere. You have to bear with me. I never use Melodyne. There it is.
Yes. 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 Yes.
Not
Yes. Yes.
not doing what I want. Bye bye, Melodyne.
Yes. Yes.
How do I remove Melodyne from this thing? Is that a thing? Oh, there we go. Okay. Do it towards the beginning, not the end of the phrase. Towards the end, not the beginning of the phrase. You mean slowly, like format shift over the course of the phrase?
Say, this rocket we're building will be able to fly to the moon.
We believe that possible. Yes. And for some time, our astronomers have been noticing an unusual amount of atomic activity on the moon.
So format and pitch are different, just so we're clear. Format is like, you can be saying the same pitch, as in I'm going, saying the same pitch. Now it sounds like my voice is really fat and deep.
This sounds like it's really high and small.
That's changing the format. But my pitch actually stays the same between that. Whereas putting my pitch down actually changes it. Format makes it scattered, like on the Matrix when they morph. Scattered. My understanding is the format is the like harmonic balance of the sound, where the EQ spike lays, basically, which gives you this sound versus this sound versus this sound, which is the same pitch. It's not the same pitch. I'm changing my pitch now. If I hold my pitch steady and sing it like this, it sounds really high. Whereas my pitch steady, hold like this. I'm changing my format as I change like that. That's a format shift.
And for some time, our astronomers have been noticing an unusual amount of atomic activity on the moon.
Need a response from somebody from that phrase, not from you guys, from the guys in the box here. Yeah, the unusual is fantastic.
Well, he and another man stayed. We finally got a break. One blast.
Is your flying suit?
Yes, and I'll be glad to try.
And when you get to the moon, yes.
So that's why you want us to fly to the moon.
That's pretty good. I could also try to grab a female.
So that's why you want...
Unusual amount of atomic activity on the moon.
So that's why you want us to fly to the moon.
Unusual amount of atomic activity on the moon.
So that's why... So that's why you want us to fly to the moon. Say, this rocket we're building will be able to fly to the moon.
We believe that possible.
Yes.
And for some time, our astronomers have been noticing an unusual amount of atomic activity on the moon.
So that's why you want us to fly to the moon. So that's why you want us to fly to the moon.
Some noise craziness before, so I want to fly to the moon. Yeah, I could do some kind of like percussion or noise or even an instrument playing.
Say, this rocket we're building will be able to fly to the moon.
We believe that possible.
Yes.
And for some time, our astronomers have been noticing an unusual amount of atomic activity on the moon.
I'm just trying to work out in my mind right now how I stretch the best way to put this quote. I don't even know if that's the... I mean, it makes sense, so that's why he wants to fly to the moon. Of course, it's a good quote. I'm just going to quickly look in the female section of the same thing. They even have a sound effects section and a music section. So like if we look in the sound effects and we go to RM, you might get some like good noises. Nope, just boring noises. Yeah, I was thinking about putting in the low pitch. Actually, that's a good idea.
Who could possibly be doing this?
That's a good one.
The continued wave of death-dealing explosions struck yesterday at area defense. Maybe we better get back to Earth. Well, how did they catch him? Well, what about his connection with the invaders from the moon? But aren't they going to try to find out something? If the moon men did start that eruption, they certainly got results. You know, Commando Cody thinks that maybe... Yes, but that doesn't help us catch them. Couldn't you get a line? Probably a ray gun. I'm all right now. But you can testify that you... Cody Laboratory. Before we get started on ships using regular rocket fuel, let's do some experimenting with atomic... Maybe we better get back to Earth.
Yeah, that's good. Maybe even at the end of the track.
What do you mean, the truth? Who could possibly be doing this?
I'm going to grab this one for now. RMO4. I guess I could have just shown it in Finder there. And female RM04. Check this 20-second clip of the Matrix format. Is that, you gonna send a YouTube or a video for me to watch, or how should I see it?
Atomic activity on the moon.
Possibly be doing this.
Amount of atomic activity on the moon.
Who could possibly be doing this?
The link doesn't show up in the chat, actually, Matt. I can't see it at all. It's probably a YouTube thing to prevent spamming.
Unusual amount of atomic activity on the moon.
Who could possibly be doing it?
My only issue with trying to watch the thing right now on the stream is that I may get some kind of copyright strike thing that would make me have to remove the audio. If you can send it to me in email and I can like listen to it on my own, apart like with the mic off or something, that would work. But I don't know that I can do it on the stream just in case they're gonna give me an issue for it.
Unusual amount of atomic activity on the moon.
Who could possibly be doing this?
Unusual amount of atomic activity on the moon.
Who could possibly be doing this? Who could possibly be doing this? Who could possibly be doing? Who could possibly be? Who could possibly be doing this?
How about this woman down 7 semitones?
Who could possibly be doing this? Who could possibly be doing this?
Doesn't quite work as well.
Who could possibly be doing this? Who could possibly be doing this? Who could possibly be doing this? Who could possibly be doing? Who could possibly be doing this?
Yeah, it's interesting grasp.
Say,
Sure.
this rocket we're building will be able to fly to the moon.
We believe that possible.
Yes.
And for some time, our astronomers have been noticing an unusual amount of atomic activity on the moon.
Who could possibly... Who could possibly be doing this? 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 Who could possibly be doing this?
That's why you want to...
Okay, thanks, Matt. Why did you choose this vocal? Honestly, I just like opened up a folder on the computer and it was there, and I thought, hey, that's awesome. Anything to do with space, basically, is, you know me. I'm gonna be into that. Give me one sec here. I'm just gonna turn off my microphone so I don't get a ban on this video. I don't know how they do that effect exactly. I don't know. Maybe there's a format shift involved in it, or a frequency shift. But as far as format shifting goes with the plugins that I know, won't give me that crazy effect. That's for sure. It would be cool to do that kind of glitching thing for sure. What do you think of Space Force? What is Space Force? That's a good question.
Yes.
And for some time, our astronomers have been noticing an unusual amount of atomic activity on the moon.
Who could possibly be doing...
Don't know. Should I use the who could possibly, or should I use the...
So that's why you want us to fly to the moon.
I mean, that one makes a lot of sense, but...
Say, this rocket we're building will be able to fly to the moon.
We believe that possible.
Yes.
And for some time, our astronomers have been noticing an unusual amount of atomic activity on the moon.
So that's why you want us to fly to the moon.
That's the U.S. military branch that was just created for space. Jesus Christ. When it comes to that sort of space aspect, the mainstream conventional blah blah idea of it, I'm a little bit on the outskirts of that. I do have a massive interest in all things space, all things technology. Most of it these days centers around alternative views on that kind of stuff rather than the I don't know what the military's up to. I'm hoping to not know what the military's up to as much as possible. That's pretty demonic. I don't think you can understand what it's saying though. Did you watch that star cluster erupt on Uranus? No, but that sounds great. I'd love to watch that.
Who could possibly...
So that's why you want us to fly to the moon.
Unusual amount of atomic activity on the moon.
So that's why you want us to fly to the moon.
You're not trolling.
Be doing this?
I'll look it up afterwards. What does that even mean? A star cluster erupts on Uranus? That doesn't mean anything to me.
Unusual amount of atomic activity on the moon.
I gotta get some context here. I've heard this too much. Sorry, I'm gonna go back to the start.
unusual amount of atomic activity on the moon.
So that's why he wants to fly to the moon.
Too much empty space in the intro. I know the dropped verse is impactful, but always feels like too much empty for me. You mean like this sort of stuff here? The thing with the house music thing is it's not listening music, right? In the same way that anything else is. It's primarily dancing music. And so a lot of times this intro is going to be mixed into, say I release this and someone's actually going to put it in the mix, they're going to mix into this intro from another song. So you leave a lot of space, right, to see there, Sean's got it. You need 64 bars for mixing tracks together. Exactly. We need this, like, not too much happening, but interesting enough that if you were to listen from the start, it'd be fine. Just to get the mix happening, and you can be grooving with it. It's not so much supposed to be catching your attention as it is supposed to be just creating a dancing groove, a dancing vibe that can be mixed into. That's my idea anyway. What if you took out the hi-hat in the intro and let it come in on the 4th or 8th bar? You mean, I've got no hi-hat here. You mean here you want the hi-hat muted. I'm not opposed to the idea. Like this. Every second one, is that what you're talking about? I'm not sold on the every second one if that's what you mean, but you can explain more. I do like it as it's coming with the build up. I can dig that. This. Interesting idea. Have to see how it flows. Now, of course, I'm the wrong person to be talking about house music, period. It's not like I'm at all an aficionado on the thing. But what I can say from my time deeply diving into it in the last month or so for work purposes, the offbeat hat is almost the melody. You know what I mean? I hear you on the fuck house music thing, but there's something to be said for me about lines to cross and lines to not cross. And I don't know where that line is right now on this thing. But for me, so far, the offbeat hat is almost the most important element of house. And as a house noob, I do want to pay homage to that because I don't pay homage to that in any other track that I make. So I'm partial to using it in a traditional way, but I'm also interested to try without it, and we'll see how it goes. The offbeat hat is the... It's almost the loudest element in almost every house track, aside from the kick. And yeah, it's what gets that groove going, you know. You want to feel that back and forth. I'm going to see how it feels here. And I'm sorry, Matt, but I will not listen to Drake and Nicki Minaj no matter what you ask me to listen to. I understand what you're saying for sure, and I'm definitely into genre challenging. Absolutely, most of my music is that way for sure. So I understand. This is on the right track. It's not doing it for me yet, but some variation of this I think will be fine. This other one in there, just the one. Maybe some percussion. Something like that. This should be muted. This muted. This muted. Get her percussin. Ba da da ga da ba da ga. Ga 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 ga. Try the snare on the I don't know what you mean, Matt. You mean on every and you want a snare? Because if that's what you want, you're a madman. Best man! Ah, fuck, sorry. You want a snare on every and? 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Polka style. Ready? Blast beats. Is that what you're talking about? Hey, listen to these guys. Okay, but skip the 3. I mean, I'll humor you. I will put it there. I can tell you I won't keep it there, but I'm a nice guy. I have no idea if these sounds are going to work. I just kind of picked them because they were there. Bring back the 90s. Let's pitch shift all of these up. It's not right, but no. No. Yeah, definitely need to be quieter. Let's send them to a bus. And then on the bus, we'll put a filter, bandpass filter, steep. Problem is it runs into that bass and I don't want that. No, they're not the right sounds. I need something cleaner. Yeah.
Best man!
Ah, every time. Can you try those on the 16ths for 3 to 4 beats? They're so CC Music Factory hit song. I deleted them already, sorry, but I will find something. I did want to, before I forget, try to put the ride cymbal on this part. wrong ride symbol, but it could work. Ride symbols are like my life. I just love them. You are the ride symbol. Yes, that's what I want to hear. Do you only use rides in the chorus? They tend to dominate. In like a regular song, do you mean? Or in a house track? They're appropriate when you want space filled. Hi-hats don't fill any space, right? So it's just, which means you can get really tight rhythms with hi-hats. But the ride cymbal gives you that flowing, open, airy quality. That's what I use them for. When I want the track to, it's been tight, and I want to blah, it blossoms for a while. And when it blossoms, you have the ride cymbal there to give this constant high frequency energy that's dancing on top. I often have two ride cymbals panned between one on the left and one on the right, and you can play polyrhythms, you know, that stuff like this. And you get this stereo. Stole that from Pat Metheny, one of my absolute idols. He uses that all the time. When do you decide between an open hi-hat and a ride? Well, open hi-hat is very aggressive most of the time in terms of keeping it constant. It's good for that that sort of thing, but like a for me, that's like an aggressive almost thing. Like we're doing it right now. The ride cymbal feels when it's tapped on feels very, to me, sophisticated and elegant, and the hi-hat, open hi-hat, is aggressive, loud, all-consuming. Of course, I use it in rock all the time, and then sometimes I'll put it into some kind of jazz hoppy sort of context. But in other genres, I almost never use it, as opposed to, other than in the that sort of thing. So Addictive Drums has this awesome thing where you can choke all your cymbals in the way that you really would. Like I can hit the ride, hit the bell of the ride, hit the ride as like a washy cymbal, and then any of those can be choked. So, and that's what I'm going to do at the end of this passage here, is choke this right on the beat. So it's clean. Alternating rides with ride bells. Whew, can't get any better than that. I don't know if it's going to fit in this track, but at any chance I get, I do try to make it happen. So let's see. I'm gonna do it. What are you using to choke or determine the ride? It's all on the keyboard, actually. The way that Addictive Drums works is if you look at the keyboard down here, you can see it. It maps a massive amount of drums. Kick, whatever you call it. Rim shot on the snare with the left hand. Snare left hand. Rim shot right hand. Snare right hand. Side stick. Other legit side stick. So much stuff. This is a custom kit that I made for Addictive Drums that is just the bee's knees as far as I'm concerned. If I could play. Something like that. Now where's my drums, my toms? I grew up playing on the keyboard drum kits, and they're mapped differently than Addictive Drums does. Addictive Drums is great because it gives you so much variation, but on the old kits, everything was within hand reach, so you could drum with your hands really well and get drum fills and stuff. So I can't quite do them the same these days anymore, but there's some guys on YouTube who really knock it out of the park. I'll send you a cool, great recorder kit that does that and sounds good. Record at 96 kilohertz. Great, yeah, please do. That would be wonderful. Yeah, I don't know where to put this ride bell. Just there. Connor Lum is in the chat. Oh my goodness. Connor, I just want to mention how much of an inspiration you were to me when I saw you play at that concert months and months ago now. So thank you for that. I really appreciate it. Can you custom map Addictive Drums? Yes, you can, for sure. I've used just about every drum app plugin around, and it's just the best. I love it. Where to custom map is the question. I haven't done it in a long time. Key map. Nope, that's a PDF file. Don't quote me on that mapping thing. Yeah, here it is, the map window. So yeah, here's the whole thing laid out like this. So yes, technically I could map it to play in real time as I like, but you know, whatever. For the most time, I'm not playing that much in real time, and I appreciate, like with the hi-hats, you get hi-hat pedal. You can't see my stuff here anymore. There we go. Hi-hat pedal. You get your first super tight hat with multiple velocities, round robin style, slightly looser, slightly looser, slightly looser. The bell of the hat, basically open, fully open, all the way. Bell of the hat while open even. Pedaled open. Here I've got a ride cymbal that I've changed the envelope on to make it short. So yeah, a bunch of cool stuff you can do there. Must be running out of time, right? 8:41, yeah. So I need to put a delay on this synth too, I think, so that I can get a bit more space filled here. I'm a mouth drummer for the start, and I tend to use the kick snare, hat, ride, or toms. What's your progression from the start? I'll answer that in just a sec. take the ride off that first hit.
Say, this rocket we're building will be able to fly to the moon.
We believe that possible.
Yes.
And for some time, our astronomers have been noticing an unusual amount of atomic activity on the moon.
So that's why you want us to fly to the moon.
Who could possibly be doing this?
Okay, answer the first question. I'm a mouth drummer for the start. Then I tend to use kick, snare, hat, rides, or toms. What's your progression from the start? I'm assuming you're meaning in terms of how do I write beats. I can't hear them separately myself most of the time. I hear, because of all the beatboxing practice, I hear, and probably is what a drummer does anyway, hear them as an integrated whole. The relationship between the snare, the hat, or the ride, or whatever it happens to be, the kick, and whatever. So when I hear a beat, I hear it as a unit with everything interlocking. From there, it always starts for me as a beatbox, as a feel, and then I try to play it with my hands as soon as I can to try to get... There's certain things that my hands will do that my mouth doesn't like to do, and side to side, take that as sexually far as you like, and that's it. I don't have a particular order in which I do it per se, but it does start at my mouth for sure, and then move to playing on the keyboard, putting it in, and then I'm quite picky about things, you can probably tell already. So I end up doing a lot of manipulation along the way with the drums, like really, really specific quantization, anti-quantization procedures. I got to do a video on programming drums one time because I've got a whole lot of stuff, a lot of work I've put into that. I hear it interlocking as well, but I have trouble breaking it out from a kick, snare, hat standpoint. I mean, that's basically the standpoint. Kick, snare, and timekeeping element. The thing is, I used to try to play along with recordings. I didn't have it, well, my brother had a drum set. Before that, I had my keyboard, and I would put on, like, whatever it was back in the day, Led Zeppelin or something, and I would just play along with the whole thing, and then start to improvise along with the recording. That's how I learned to integrate them myself. Also, I play drums physically, the instrument. That's really important too. I mean, if you want to be like killing on the drum side of things, studying good drummers, watching master classes, listening to what they have to say, trying to break down beats, your favorite beats that you hear, people playing in all different genres, trying to program it, all that stuff is hugely important to me, and I've done for a number of years for sure. Connor, you asked, can you route each individual drum sample to the mixer? Yeah, absolutely. And I don't have that happening in this case because primarily my drums are electronic here, and I'm taking them from a sampler and I'm mapping them to individual channels. At the moment, I only have the ride cymbals coming through. If I'm going to start putting anything else from this kit through, though, I will have it all mapped to separate channels, including overhead channels and a room channel, bus channel, send that all to an external bus, process it all together. That's the idea. Addictive Drums has a whole lot of routing internally too, has an overhead, a room track, and a bus track internally with a couple of send effects for delay or reverb. That all goes to a master bus inside of itself if you want, and from there you can compress, saturate, EQ the whole thing within the plugin. So you can make pretty full-on presets inside of Addictive Drums, but I do often have templates where I have them all spread out with individual compression and EQ on every element because, you know, being nerdy is fun. I want to take my beatboxing from my mouth and import it into a DAW to automatically create MIDI. Yeah, the trick is when you're beatboxing, of course, you can't hit every division with your mouth. I mean, you can only make one sound at a time, roughly speaking. And so, like, even if you're going to do that, I'm hearing, but I'm only vocalizing every second one. but the illusion is that it's on every eighth. So that's an issue. In order to get it to go MIDI, you have to separate them. That for me is more difficult. If I were to have to record like, and then I can do that, but it's weird. I much prefer them all together. So until I've got a brain interface that's just going to take the drums out of me into the MIDI, I got to do it by hand, unfortunately.
Say, this rocket we're building will be able to fly to the moon.
We believe that possible.
Yes.
And for some time, our astronomers have been noticing an unusual amount of atomic activity on the moon.
So that's why you want us to fly to the moon.
I don't like how many times I hear the word moon here.
We'll be able to fly to the moon.
We believe that possible.
Yes.
And for some time, our astronomers have been noticing an unusual amount of atomic activity on the moon.
So that's why you want us to fly to the moon.
Yeah, I'm going to have to cut out that last moon, I think, and put something else in there. Yeah, it's not that clear. I think I'm going to get rid of this thing altogether because it says moon. Again, it's not clear. It's out. It's gone. Probably bring in the lady.
Who could possibly be doing this?
Or if I could get some quote of someone saying wow or hooray.
And for some time, our astronomers have been noticing an unusual amount of atomic activity on the moon.
Who could possibly be doing this?
That's not bad. She finishes her this before the next beat there.
Atomic activity on the moon.
Who could possibly be doing this?
At this point, I want the bass to, not the bass, not the bass at synth, but the bass of the whole track to be getting removed here. Possibly even drop out the drums for a while so that we can get into the main part there.
Atomic activity on the moon.
That moon doesn't really do it for me either. Yeah. So I'm not going to accomplish my goal here today of getting this attached to the main beat, such as life. I'm going to probably do this nitty-gritty work on my own in the next day or two. It's just too specific, too many little details, too much hearing the same thing over and over again. I don't really want to do that all on a stream, so I'm going to try to get that done. And then next stream, I'm going to get back on to making the second part of the drop here, which would be a bit more fun. I did want to just try one thing before I end the stream, which is, yeah, absolutely, ear gets taxed, which is just a little bit of synth programming, because I'm not completely satisfied with one of the synths I've got right now, and I would like to be. So just so you can have a little sense of how I go about programming a bass, I'll try to do this very quickly and just see if I arrive at anything interesting. So I have a template patch that I created that has basic shapes loaded into both sides to begin with. I'm just going to throw this on to that one I mentioned on the previous stream, something about Icon has cheeseburger, wherever that went. Icon has kick. Oh, that's what it is, not cheeseburger. That's a meme. And then I'm going to FM, frequency modulate, this oscillator B from oscillator A, so FM from A, throw this down an octave. Throw this down an octave, throw this down another. Try this down. Mono. Okay, that's cool. Put an envelope on that. Put my patented little percussion trigger. Whenever I listen to this sound for too long in headphones, this icon has kick sound, it makes my hearing go weird. I don't know what it is. Something about this. How it sounds in context, we're not going to know that yet. I've got to get the sound a little bit cooler first. I'm going to say LFO2 controls global master tune. One directional. Oops, that was on the wrong. Global master tune. Pump up the speed here. Yeah, sometimes the hearing going weird is a cool thing, no doubt. So what's interesting here is that this, if I turn this side off, this is just a sine wave, but its frequency, meaning its pitch, is being modulated, changed, by the shape of this. The pitch of this is feeding into this and modulating its pitch so fast that it ends up sounding like this. This one, if I turn off oscillator B, isn't making any noise at all. It's just modulating the frequency of this one. And then we can do the old multi-band compressor inside Serum, which doesn't help us that much in this case. Not much at all, so we'll leave it out. We're going to put some distortion on there. Thomas, hey Max, joining from Virginia, USA. I compose for orchestra. Cool to watch your journey into Serum. Oh, great. Hi, Thomas. Thanks for joining. A comes first. I hate synthesis, a fool's errand. If you take the time to learn synthesis, man, it's life-changing. There's so much cool stuff you can do. There's an app called Syntorial, which teaches you how to create synthesizer presets in an amazing way. Like, it's very, very good app. I really recommend it. I actually learned by copying presets. Believe it or not, I was on a freelancing website, which is where I've gotten most of my work as a composer over the years. And Unison, the company that I made all these patches for, they hired me from there, but they put out a audition for making these synth presets as a job. And I had never actually made my own presets before, but they said, okay, for an audition, you got to try to remake some of these drops from EDM songs, make these synths. I just opened Serum, read the manual, step 1, and then literally just started twisting knobs. If it sounded closer, I kept it. If it didn't, I turned it down. I just did that over and over and over again until I started to get close to the sound. And that's the first step I had on my journey to learn synthesis. From there, I used Syntorial, which was great. And I started trying to copy as many sounds as I could. I also had a job, of course, making synth sounds, so I was able to make 600 or so patches. in the course of about a year and a half. So I got pretty familiar with it at the time. And during that, realized the power of creating your own patches. I still hesitate to do it because it takes so much time, but yeah, it was very much worth it. Do you do most of your sound design in Serum? Yeah, Serum and Omnisphere. Omnisphere, if I want to create organic sounding, interesting timbres, like acoustic instruments mixed with electronic stuff, I'll do a lot of that in Omnisphere. And then Serum for me is where the synthesis is at, full on. I just love it, love it, love it. I love the interface. I love the amazing sound quality that you get out of it with very, very low aliasing artifacts. So much you can do, from the wavetable stuff to subtractive synthesis to basically additive synthesis, because I can go into an oscillator and look at its harmonic spectrum. Like, this is literally the harmonic series as it relates to this waveform, and go in and manipulate individual harmonics and the phase shift of each harmonic. Holy moly, it's about as nerdy as it gets. I just love it. So yeah, Serum is my favorite for that. How did you learn Studio One? What was your journey? Well, I initially, as a teenager, I learned Reason. Then I went to audio engineering school and I learned some more Reason, and I learned Pro Tools. From there, I went to Cubase, to Logic, to Digital Performer for many years. And then I switched to Studio One when I was going to make the Lydian course, which is the Lydian Learning course. That's the one that's on YouTube, that is on my main YouTube channel there, the Studio One course. When it came to making that, I was looking to make a music production course for people who were just getting into music production. And I wanted a DAW that was both Mac and PC, modern feeling, hip, cool, very functional. And Studio One's what I landed on. There were some other options too, of course, Ableton or whatever. But I wanted something that was most like other DAWs, meaning if you left Studio One, you wouldn't be stranded. When you learn Studio One, you've basically learned Logic, you've basically learned Cubase, you've basically learned Pro Tools-ish, right? Whereas Ableton is almost its own thing in certain ways. So that's what drove me to Studio One. And then I did the way I first learned it was I said, I'm going to try to make a full song using only stock everything, which you can find on my channel. Actually, there's a breakdown of it. It's part of the course, and there's just the audio version of it too. It's called Twilight Waters. It's on my YouTube channel there, and that was the first song I ever made in Studio One using all the stock plugins, and that gave me a really good idea of how to use it just through making that track. Thank you for the compliment. I really appreciate it, Matt. It's been fun, and I love it now. So back to this. We're trying to beef this up. Pretty good stuff here. Just going to stick with the tube. Going to throw the hyper on, get rid of the hyper, put the dimension up to get some stereo. Spreading. Put the phaser on. In Serum, you can turn your phaser's rate to 0 in case you didn't know. So you can get these very cool effects. It's almost like an EQ spike. Like a Fire, hi, welcome. Did you ever try Bitwig Studio for sound design? No, I haven't. I've seen people rave about it. I don't really know anything about it, though. Have you tried it? Do you dig it? Okay, and then we're just gonna quickly throw this thingy into Saturn for more distortion. Potentially, I don't know. How do you organize your sound samples? That's a good question too. Just a sec. No, I liked it before. Sorry. I need to put this in legato mode. I have Studio One and Bitwig, and the workflow and the possibilities in Bitwig are just awesome. Yeah, I bet. And as I always say, you know, the best DAW is the one that you know best. Just like the best speakers, the best headphones are the one that you know best. And although certain synths and certain DAWs have advantages, no doubt about it, you can almost do everything in every DAW. And if a synth is good, you can almost do everything in every synth. And it's just how well do you know the thing, for me. So since I know Studio One so well right now, I'm trying to keep my head out of the DAW game so I don't have to be tempted to change again. How do I organize my sound samples? I can show you. They are, if I go to, maybe I can do it inside of Studio One. I don't usually do it in Studio One, but yeah, here we go. These are my drums and samples. So I had them organized by sound. So there's some weird things here, but 8-bit sounds, claps, cymbals. Then say within cymbals, I've got them organized: crash and chinas, electro cymbals, reverse cymbals, rides, and various. In hi-hats, I'll have electro hats, open, real hats, kicks. I've got 808s, electro kicks, enhancers, things to put on top of kicks, my own kicks, soft kicks, urban sounding kicks, blah, blah. So folders and folders and folders. I spent about 2 weeks quite a few years ago now, literally like 5 hours a day, culling my massive, as we all probably get, collection of samples, literally taking note of every single one that was the best of the best, sorting them all into very, very organized folders, deleting everything else. Then I was using that for many, many years, and just recently I started to create a new set of samples that I have here, new gen as I call it, and in here, again, I have everything sorted, claps, cymbals, blah, blah, blah. But these are all the next layer now that my ear has progressed in choosing samples and creating samples to be just the highest quality ones that kind of suit my taste. So yeah, I try to organize them all by instrument type so I can grab them as fast as possible. Then within the instrument type, organize them into heavy, light, whatever makes sense for that thing. Most of my tracks are disabled. If you right-click and enable a track and then press spacebar to play, does it work for you, or do you need to click into the arranger? So are you talking about like doing that right here, right-clicking here, and is there even a disable track? Enable track. That seems to go for me. I don't know if that's exactly what you meant. In my templates, though, I keep everything disabled, like you're talking about, right? I have a template with just stacks of serums, stacks of Omnisphere tracks, contact tracks, all that, all disabled. And then when I go to use something, I enable it first, and then go ahead and use it. But I haven't had a problem where it won't play, like you're saying. Do you use stock synths in Studio One? I don't. Not when I'm making my own music. Sorry, Thomas, if you want to explain further, go ahead. I don't use stock synths on my own when I'm making tracks, just because I have so many third-party synths. And the thing is that a company whose purpose it is, or whose mission, so to speak, it is to create synths, to create plugins, is going to do that better than a company whose purpose it is to create a DAW, right? The PreSonus is trying to create, of course, they have so many products, but in this sense, they're trying to create a DAW, and then they include some plugins there that are enough to get you by for sure. You could definitely use them, and if you get good at synthesis, you can do well with them. But a company whose purpose it is to create plugins exclusively, of course, is going to create very high quality plugins compared to someone who's just doing that on the side. So I end up using all third-party plugins for the most part. Okay, Prashun, great to have you here. Thanks for stopping by. Hope you have a great rest of your day. Right, so a disabled track, enable it, and then press play without clicking into the arranger. Sorry, I'm not explaining myself. Well, that's fine. So let's take a track that is actually in use here. So for instance, the sizzle bass, that. Okay, so I'm going to right click, disable. Now I'm going to play. Now I'm going to open the thing even. I don't know if this is what you meant. Oh, this is a completely different thing from the disabling. So I'm going to enable here. Play. And that seems fine. Is that what you're asking? Or are you talking about this kind of activating and deactivating? Right click, spacebar. Did I do it correct? Disable track, right click, enable track, spacebar. I feel like that's what you're asking, but I'm probably misunderstanding you here. So. Yeah, the spacebar works. That's how I was doing it. So I'm not quite sure what the issue you're having is, unfortunately. I was hoping I was going to kind of not replace that sound, but replace this sound.
Say, this rocket we're building.
Ba-do-do. Not that it's bad, it's fine, but it's just not working out as I thought it was going to, which is the story of my music production life. Terrible. Absolutely, completely horrible. Never, ever do that again. Okay. Yeah, I don't have the answer for that exact question, Thomas, and there's so many specifics there about exactly which VSTs. That all VSTs are using it are using the exact version of Studio One that I am, 4.5 point whatever it is. Are you on PC? Are you on Mac? Luckily, it's a pretty small inconvenience to have to click into the thing again. If you're doing it from the mix view, that might be a thing. Sometimes that happens to me, where something, I don't know if it's in the mix view or somewhere, I get something in front of the arranger view and it doesn't play properly, and I have to click into the arranger view to play. I don't know. I haven't paid enough attention to it, so I don't really know what that is off the top of my head. But yeah, as Matt was saying, there can be a whole lot of weird stuff that just happens. And as long as it doesn't break my program, I'm not too concerned.
An unusual amount of atomic activity on the moon.
Who could possibly be doing this?
Yeah, I think that's going to be it for me for tonight. That was just over 2 hours. Making progress. I'm going to try to finish off this talking section on my own at some point here. And then next time I stream, could be in a day or in 2 days, I'm not quite sure yet. I will try to get the next part of the drop going on. I feel like the last couple streams I've been moving slow just because this part is new to me and I don't quite know how to work with it, but hopefully get back to some composition related stuff soon and really just go for it. That would be a blast. So I'm looking forward to that. Thanks to everybody who stopped by. I really appreciate that. It was great chatting with all of you, and your support means a lot to me. Remember, the trim knob on channels for gain staging. Absolutely, good call. Macro for chord inversions. Sample one for dialogue. I'm going to definitely try all that. Thank you so much, Matt. I really appreciate everything you contribute here on the streams. It's very helpful for me. So thank you. Thank you to everybody. Have a great rest of your day, rest of your night, wherever you are. And I hope to see you on the next one. I'll try to do them quite regularly. I have a blast doing it, so I hope you enjoy it as well. Thank you. See you soon.